We start the show with a match from Friday night. It's been a tough start to the season for both Preston and Hull, who find themselves in the bottom three. So there was plenty at stake when they met at Deepdale. Dan O'Hagan is the commentator.
In the middle, Garcia, Kilban on this near side. It's Corran's cross for Garcia! Here's long wait for a goal is over. And Richard Garcia, for the first time in 27 long months, is goal scorer. Ian Hume, neatly taken. It's Ian Hume who takes it on! Off the post and across the face of the line. Hume again back in, looking for Parkin, taken by Manone. Ian Hume here with a low shot which comes back off the post, then runs agonisingly back across the line without crossing it. That is as close as you can come without possibly scoring. Garcia stronger there than St Ledger, who's been caught here. It's Richard Garcia for Hull. Across it goes and poked in for two. Nick Barmby, brought on to score a second goal, has done exactly that for Hull. And this basement battle is going the way of the away team. Nick Barmby steals in to score. Here goes Simpson. Oh, a slip this time by Morgan. Lets in Jay Simpson. Simpson to finish it. He's hit the post.
Sheffield United are still waiting for a change of fortune since appointing Gary Speed as manager early in the season. The Blades were 4 matches without a win when they travelled to South East London to play Millwall. Commentary in this one comes from Alistair Mann.
Nicely done by Morrison, keeping it alive to Henry. He's on target, and it hit Bartley, I think, in the face, who's already brandishing a face mask. I think he's okay. And Shitu has decided not to come for this, but it's still going towards the goal, and Calvey, I think it was, who got it clear, and then it was battered away by Morrison. Didn't look as though it was a header that ought to have gone into the back of the net from Morrison. Calvey got it, and then the second one battered wide by Morrison. Henry's delivery, and Shitu! He was onside, he was unmarked, and he ought to have done better. He tried to bring in Morrison, but here comes Yates, and onside is Reid. Real opening for Andy Reid, and still, and he's taken it. A mark of real quality, of Premier League quality, and the Sheffield United supporters are jubilant. Reid onside, he took his time, he waited his moment, and my word, did he finish it well. Terrific goal from Andy Reid. He scored once before against Millwall for Nottingham Forest. I doubt it was as good a finish as that one. Out came Simonson, and then he was in no man's land, and Sheffield United have escaped, at least momentarily. Henry retrieves the situation for Millwall. It's a decent ball in, Morrison, and done. Sheffield United throwing bodies at the ball and preventing it from troubling their goalkeeper. Here comes Marquis, and Marquis! The perfect start within seconds of the beginning of the second period. Got the better of Nosworthy, eluded Simonson, but also the frame of the goal. Barron, cleared by Nosworthy, Hughes Mason, and Trotter stuck out a boot. Hughes Mason's shot was going wide, and Trotter stuck out a boot in desperation to turn it goal-bound. And I think in that moment, the destination of the points is South Yorkshire.
Forest unbeaten at home versus QPR unbeaten in the league all season. Not easy to call, not that many chances in this one either. Even so, former Rangers keeper Lee Camp made a series of first-half saves, including that one from Carl Walker. Incredibly, QPR have never won in the league at the City Ground, and they weren't done any favours here by referee Andy D'Urso when Tommy Smith felt he should have had a penalty. We feel he's got a case. Lewis McGugan getting away with a slightly clumsy challenge. Forest won this fixture 5-0 last season. They would have gone 1-0 up if it hadn't been for Paddy Kenny denying McGugan. Chris Cohen's follow-up dealt with well enough. To unlock a game like this needed something special. Adel Taarabt almost provided it, but Camp provided more acrobatics. Perhaps we should have known. A 9th draw of the season then for Forest, a 7th in their last 9 for QPR.
From the first minute, we tried to win the game, and I think all credit to the lads. You know, we had Camp in a fantastic form, wasn't he?
I thought their goalkeeper pulled off 1 or 2 saves as well, and you know, it's tit for tat. And we can look at that with the penalty claims that they're shouting for, and the same with us.
Dave Jones was this week named the Championship Manager of the Month for October, but a draw and a defeat so far in November meant Cardiff's position at the summit was short-lived. The Player of the Month award went to Jay Bothroyd, who's been named in Fabio Capello's England squad for the friendly against France, and it took him just 75 seconds to get off the mark here. Scunthorpe were hoping to avoid a 4th successive home defeat, but they were up against it going 2 down here within 10 minutes, Bothroyd this time teeing up Michael Chopra. Craig Bellamy returned to the side to complete an attack-minded front 3, and it was the on-loan Manchester City man's delivery that Bothroyd turned home, his 15th Championship goal in 16 games, Cardiff coasting. At 3-0 down, Scunthorpe deserved credit for giving themselves hope just before the break. Kevin McDonald with the measured finish. Bothroyd's hoping to become Cardiff's first ever England international. A hat-trick here wouldn't have done his chances any harm at all, but Joe Murphy's heroics twice denied him. And the Iron were much improved in the second half. Danny Ngesson arrived on loan from Leicester during the week. He introduced himself with a goal here, 3-2. But any hopes of an unlikely point were short-lived. A Jason Kumas drive probably wasn't going to trouble Murphy before Sai Olofinjana's backside got in the way. Cardiff back to winning ways and back to the top.
A little bit of sloppiness, a little bit of laziness from us allowed them to grab the initiative from us, and they made one hell of a fight for it the second half.
It seems Sven brings glamour wherever he goes. Not everyone's impressed, admittedly, but it's good to know the lengths Leicester will go to just to make sure that the match ball is delivered properly. The news before kick-off had focused on Milan Mandaric's rumoured interest in Sheffield Wednesday, but the Foxes didn't seem unduly concerned as they started this East Midlands derby against informed Derby. Darius Vassell only arrived at the Walkers Stadium last month, and the former England striker was convinced he'd opened his Leicester account. The linesman thought otherwise. Vassell will have to wait a bit longer. In their last meeting, Andy King had decided matters with an own goal. This time, a well-timed run allowed him to score at the right end. Richie Wellens with the perfectly weighted through ball. That's number 7 this season for King. He's fast becoming a bit of a crowd favourite. Derby had suffered just 1 defeat in their previous 10 matches, with Chris Commons key to that impressive run. But even though it seemed he was trying to avoid contact with Carl Norton, ref Steve Tanner saw it differently. The penalty and a booking for Commons the end result. A chance to wrap things up for former Rams Steve Howard. He duly obliged to score his 2nd goal in a week. Maybe Sven's magic touch is returning. 4 games unbeaten now for Leicester.
Coventry suffered a 2nd successive defeat for the first time this season against Nottingham Forest on Tuesday night. Sky Blues fans might have thought a visit to bottom-of-the-table Crystal Palace was just what was needed. They started brightly enough. Marlon King has yet to register a goal since his return to football with the Sky Blues. He showed immaculate control here, but couldn't quite find a way past Julian Speroni. Instead, it was the hosts who opened the scoring in bizarre fashion. The ball found its way to Kieran Westwood after Gary McSheffrey's tackle on Wilfred Zaha. A highly ambitious back pass, according to referee Pat Miller. Injured for much of the season so far, Darren Ambrose has been sorely missed in the Eagles' midfield. He gave Palace an unlikely lead. But Adi Boothroyd's side continued to carve out the better chances, and Lee Carsley thought he had levelled when he met McSheffrey's cross, but Speroni showed just why he's the most sought-after goalkeeper in the division. And 2 minutes later, Palace were to benefit from another dubious decision. Richard Woods adjudged to have brought down James Vaughan for a penalty, much to the horror of the Sky Blues defenders, who argued the incident occurred outside the area. Once again, Ambrose stepped up to slot his 4th goal in 6 games this season. For Adi Boothroyd, much to contemplate in a 3rd straight defeat.
There were 2 clear decisions today that were wrong. But as a manager, you look at your team and you have to look at your team and yourself first, and we didn't react in the right manner.
Still to come, it's a meeting of two promotion hopefuls, Reading against Norwich. And a thriller at Fratton Park, where Portsmouth take on Doncaster Rovers.